Let's talk a little bit about authentic leadership, what it is, what it isn't, and ultimately why it is of evermost importance here, specifically in the world we live in today. So, firstly, what I want to mention what isn't authentic leadership. Authentic leadership isn't based on a position title. It's not when you reach a certain um, company title, CMO, COO, CFO, VP of a sales department. That is not authentic leadership. Authentic leadership also isn't when you reach a certain dollar amount within your bank account and you're leading a certain number of staff members. You know, maybe you're managing 10, 15, 25 individuals on a staff. That is not authentic leadership. Authentic leadership is one's ability to go inward and be self aware of the areas that are opportunities to grow and to enhance in oneself, and also one's ability to regulate their emotions and communicate from a place of vulnerability. So, what that means is depending on where one is at on their journey or on their path, on their professional, you know, career trajectory, there can be this very ambitious nature of climbing, of ascending, reaching a certain mountaintop or a certain position and feeling as if like, wow, once I reach that particular place or that position, okay, like I've proven myself and my ability based on the years and the track record and all the work I've put in order to ascend to this leadership position. However, if there hasn't been a cognizant or intentional effort along that path to develop one's own self awareness, their own awareness of their body, different body sensations, how emotions show up, one's ability to communicate and create tactfully efficient, challenging conversations, then that is an area that could be lacking when it comes to being an authentic leader. The number one quality or trait of authentic leadership, simply put, is vulnerability. One's ability to not place themselves on a pedestal and have this aspect of perfection as if I have all the answers. Follow me. Um, you know, I'm closed off and I'm open to any feedback or to any dialogue that may be different than what I perceive as being right. Authentic leadership says, you know what, I'm open to hear what it is that you have to say. Even if it's something that may be completely different than how I perceive it or what my thoughts are around it, I'm going to open my heart up. I'm going to listen. And through that listening, I'm going to learn something new, whether it be about myself or about the other individual who is communicating to me. So vulnerability and the ego, these different aspects, it's almost like they can be in this like tug of war type of relationship. And I also want to put out that the ego is a beautiful thing. There is absolutely nothing wrong with ego. There can be a lot of, in my perception, there can be a lot of talk, the ego is this, the ego is that, you need to, the way to work with the ego is by being aware of one's shadow. And what I mean by one's shadow, it's that inner place, that very deeply inner place that where one may be most vulnerable, but they're able to look at and to see. And from being able to see and look at that deeper area, it's almost like the I'll use myself as an example. You know, one of my biggest shadow places that I was able to recognize on my journey, and still can sense that it shows up from time to time, is the ability of not being heard. If I'm not being heard, then that is a part of my own shadow where the sense comes in of um, recognizing there's two ways of looking at that. There's the withdrawing aspect of saying like, oh, I'm not being heard, or whatever it may be. I'm just gonna kind of delegate backwards. Or there's the aspect of being able to see that shadow and say, okay, that's beautiful. I see that it's there. I'm gonna love up on that, and I'm still going to move forward. And through moving forward, and through having a certain sense of awareness around that, then there's a certain level of authenticity that one is able to drop into, where one is creating from a sense of love, of openness, rather than fear, or rather than not enoughness. Because if we're creating, if we're leading, if we're building our life's ecosystem from a place of not enoughness, or from a place of fear, then it'll feel like we're on this proverbial treadmill of continuing to go, 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 and continuing to put our energy towards aspects that we may intellectually believe are going to lead us to a sense of happiness, a sense of fulfillment. But again, if the foundation of what that is being created on is fear, then all it's going to do is beget the same exact thing. There will always be another aspect like, oh, well, I need to improve at this in order to accept myself, or I need to be this in order to accept myself, or I need to make this in order to accept myself. And I bring this up because this can be very insidious, and this can be something that can drive, almost in a way, toxic leadership. It's like this almost like this "what have you done for me lately" kind of culture or kind of environment, where the journey is not celebrated, only the outcome is celebrated. And really, where the power and where the love and where the connection to the journey is at its most powerful and most intentionally uplifting arena, is through the celebration of the journey. And as the journey is being celebrated, that is where there's a certain level of authenticity that can be developed and formed and embodied. So I want to make this short, so I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna kind of close this off. But authentic leadership, again, is around self-awareness, emotional maturity and management, and how to manage those emotions. And it's also around one's ability to create and to express their authentic truth, while accepting and tactfully creating conversations with others, which may be challenging, but are done so from a place of openness, and done so from a place of listening, and done so from a place of building clarity and connection through the art of understanding.